Well, I finally got to do something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that is read the book, well, the first book of the inspiration of the channel named House of Seahawks, because I think House of Seahawks is a pretty cool name. So, I just finished book one of one of my favorite TV shows until the final season, A Game of Thrones. And I do want to say I haven't quite finished it yet. Let's get my bookmarker out of here. I just finished the last chapter. I haven't read kind of the appendix that shows all the house names, and I think that's actually a good thing that they put the house names in here, because there's a lot of characters, very complex, a lot of different houses, so it can be kind of confusing though. And obviously, as you can tell, it's quite a big book, and so I think it's good that they added that in there. And so yeah, so basically what I want to do is I just kind of want to give like my review of it, though I would like to keep this under 10 minutes, but we'll see how long this takes. Now, I haven't gotten to the second book yet. Once I give this review, I will be getting the second book, and then I will be beginning that, though. It's probably going to take me a while to read that, though. It took me a while to read this because it's a big book. There's a lot of different chapters in it. And yeah, now I did announce on my other channel, Football Reactions. If you guys are subscribed to that, you can unsubscribe if you want, though. I'm not really using that channel anymore. Long story short, the Google accounts don't match up, so we're now on this one, though, House of the Seahawks. And yeah, hopefully, yeah, maybe let's see if we can build a career on this one. And good way to start by talking about one of the most popular TV shows, although it's a little kind of downhill right now, but that's another topic for another time. But yeah. So yeah, this is the first book of the Game of Thrones series. Well, actually, it's actually called A Song of Fire and Ice. This is the first book I've read, and obviously we'll begin to book 2, 3, 4, and 5, maybe 6 and 7 if they come out, though. But if not, I think I would probably go to, I think it's like Blood of the Dragon, something like that, which is a pretty freaking cool name. And so yeah, let's just get started right away. I think this is a fantastic book. The detail that is just put in here is insane. Sometimes it can get like really complicated. Is complicated the right word? Yeah, the world building is phenomenal. It goes into such exquisite detail about the setting and the surroundings around these characters, and I think that obviously once you started out with season 1 of the TV show, you could definitely see that that they obviously knew how to create the settings in the background, and I think it's a good thing, because it does go into such exquisite detail with it, though. Yeah, for the most part, it does balance out all the characters and stuff, because, for example, I mean, let's see, like, you had Eddard, Tyrion, Daenerys, Sansa, Catelyn. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm missing one. But basically, it'll talk about one of those characters, and then it'll kind of go off somewhere else. And because it actually gets me very excited to see what they're going to do later, especially, oh yeah, Arya, I forgot about Arya. Like, especially when it really, really gets spread out, kind of like in later books, though. And then, of course, you have what happened to Eddard at the end of the book. Spoiler, if you don't know what's coming. But yeah, but like it does kind of put you into this like certain like unknown of like, oh man, I wonder when we're gonna be talking about this character next. And so it did kind of lead me to kind of like looking ahead to be like, oh man, I wonder what's gonna happen when we get to the next person. And that's just coming from someone who has seen the TV show, so I do know what's gonna happen. And I think that's very interesting, because then you can find a way to suck in your audience right away to be just like, hey, I'm gonna get you interested. And so I did like that part, though. It also follows along with the first season very, very well. There, a bit. I think basically every single chapter, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this a little bit. Which that also kind of goes to another thing I like though. Every single chapter here is important. I'm gonna probably say there are like 50 plus chapters in here, and every single one of them is important. Every single one of them, they have this line or they have this scene or like another character comes in, and it's important though. And I feel like especially when you get to like some of the Tyrion stuff, because Tyrion first kind of starts off in Winterfell when like the Lannisters come up, just to say these are all spoilers, and then he goes to the Wall with Jon Snow, and then on his way back he runs into the Starks. So Bran, forgot about Bran. But then again, Bran's a pretty forgettable character, if you know what I mean. And then later on, he runs into Catelyn Stark. And so the balance of it all is it's very down to detail, and it's also kind of like reminds you of like, oh yeah, that's right. Like you have that as well. You also kind of get like the zombie tease of like the White Walkers and stuff. They don't really go into much detail with it, but then again, they don't really go into much detail with it later in the season. But then again, they kind of never do. But another story. But yeah, just like the detail and the balance of it, I think is incredible. And you can definitely tell that like while there's like multiple different locations going on, it is perfectly balanced, as all things should be, if you know what I mean. And and I don't know what George R. R. Martin's process was for writing this book, but the details that he went into it though, and just kind of like perfectly timing things where like characters show up at certain times, so therefore this chapter can come up though. It's very interesting, and just kind of blows my mind of like, dang, like he knew what he was writing here. I kind of put out a season 1 review. That's also on the other channel, though. But yeah, I just thought it was a great first book. I will say probably a negative is it is really big. It does go into some pretty extreme detail, though, and kind of the way they describe some of the inappropriate scenes. It's a little uncomfortable and like a little kind of like ugh, like gross kind of a moment. And I understand like I didn't know what the show was like when I first got into it. So right away I'm like, okay, there's a lot of naked people in here. That's nice. Not. And so and once again, because it goes into such extreme detail, it does describe a lot of those scenes. So those are not very pleasant moments for me. So yeah. But I would probably say besides that, the book is really good. And also the characters are much younger in here. Like I think Daenerys is like a 13-year-old girl. So basically when they're talking about like a 13-year-old girl getting getting exposed to some pretty awful stuff. You got guys taking off her clothes. Like it's like it just like doesn't really sit well with you. And so I would probably say like that stuff I've never been a big fan of though. But then again, I'm not the kind of person that like looks into that stuff, or at least I don't like to, because I don't think that's right. But for the first book, I thought it was pretty fantastic. But if you don't know kind of the expectations are for all this stuff, you first start off and you think you're gonna get some justice. You think everything's gonna go right, and then especially once you get to near the end of the book, it's just depressing moment after depressing moment where you have characters shockingly die. You have this very dark chapter with Daenerys where she loses her child and her husband basically in the same day. And it's like even like Sansa and Arya, like bad stuff happens with them and stuff. Like it's just like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And it just kind of leaves you kind of going like, man, like where's the justice in all this? And there isn't really a lot of justice in here, but I kind of forgot like how dark and like how like kind of like where the first season kind of ended. But especially when you get to kind of near the end of the book though, it does get kind of very depressing. And then also the way that they kind of hinted at Eddard Stark's death, though they didn't actually confirm it for several chapters. And so obviously I knew that he died, but the way they kind of revealed it, I was like, okay, I think that's actually very interesting, because Because if you don't know what's going on, at first you're kind of getting this like, okay, like did someone rescue him? Like obviously every single chapter is about someone's perspective though. So when Eddard dies, it's from the perspective of Arya, and then Arya gets taken away, and you never know what happens to Eddard. So you kind of make this like, oh, like I wonder if they're actually gonna maybe someone rescue him. And then I think it went to Bran next, and Bran, they never confirmed it either, but Bran was very much like, hey, father just died. And then I think in the next chapter was Sansa, and then Sansa was like, yeah, no, he died. But actually, speaking of Sansa, I love how I said this was going to be less than 10 minutes, so it apparently is not. You have the scene with Sansa where like, especially when it kind of gets into Joffrey, which Joffrey is infamously one of the most hated characters of the entire show. And right away, they definitely build up the fact that this guy is just the worst. And even when I was reading the book, like, I was feeling the hatred for him again. And for a character that's supposed to be hated, that's a good thing. A lot of the stuff he does is really, really bad, and you don't really like it very much. But I thought that writing for him was very, very well done. And then, of course, once you get to the final chapter, you find out that dragons are now back, though. It's definitely very, very exciting. So yeah, there is a lot of very exciting, but also very, very depressing stuff happening coming up later. So yeah, that's kind of my review of it. 11.5 minutes. That's not that bad. So yeah. So yeah. So that might be. So I guess I'm just gonna be spending the rest of the football off season, kind of, I don't know, maybe talk about this. I'll probably put out another short when I actually get the second book, and then I'll probably put out another review for that, though. I'm not sure when, though. I got some stuff planned, and I also got to continue to build my background stuff, but things are a little busy right now. So we will get to it eventually, don't worry. But I think in the meantime, though, I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and X, though all that is Matthew Leininger. Yeah, Matthew Leininger 1 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I will see you guys next time. See ya. Bye.